Let's use. All right. Welcome, racers, once again to another edition of this live talk with a special title Learning Languages Through Coaching and Neuroscience. And today with me, I have another wonderful guest, Mariel, who is with me. She's another wonderful ELC language trainer and a professional neuro language coach as well. And she'll be sharing with us her own insights about neuroscience coaching and her own experience in the language learning process. And I must say that she's also a very creative person as well. She'll explain why I say that. And but we're here to have a good time, and hopefully you'll get wonderful insights as well from her. So thank you, Marielle. Thank you for being here today. How are you?
Hi, Juan Carlos, and hello to everyone who's watching right now. Thank you so much for this opportunity, for the invitation to be in this live talk. And I look forward to the questions that you'll be firing at me today. So,
Yeah,
yeah, thanks again.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. Then it will be brain friendly ones. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of brain friendly, I know that you, Mariel, help Germans learn English in brain friendly conversations in a non directive style as well. Is that right? Mm.
Yes, that's right. This is the path that I took as soon as I moved here to Germany. Yeah, so that's what I'm currently doing.
Okay. Yes. Great. Great. And I'd like to start this interview perhaps with a question that it's a little bit of an inside type of questions. And based on the research that I did in preparation to this interview, I was curious to ask you why. What is the reason? Maybe I'm breaking the rules with a why question from the start, but what is the reason that you don't like talking about the weather in your sessions?
Yes, I believe you saw my Instagram reel
Yeah.
about that. Um, well, weather is it's our go-to topic, especially for small talk. Anyway, it's the first thing that we see when we step out of the door, and it's usually what we talk about with other
Yeah.
people. Um, but I just wanted to have a variety, just change the game and not just talk about the weather and talk about other things because there are other things to talk about. So when I promote my conversation courses, um, that's what I say, we're not going to talk about the weather. So we're going to
Mhm.
talk about really other interesting stuff that's going on because there that's what you can use when you try to engage in conversations with other people. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. And I've seen your Instagram, and it's very, very cool. Yeah, I had a great time reading your post and watching your videos as well. And the first thing that I noticed was one, your logo and the colors that you use, the nice combination of the yellow and sometimes a little bit of black. And I was curious to know where did you come up with the idea of your logo and the colors that
Mhm.
you use for your posts? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
That's a great question, and I'm really happy that you asked because I must say I feel quite proud coming up with this logo, this brand. Um, when I started, when I started launching my English coaching career here. So, well, first of all, I used Tickle My English.
Mhm.
Tickle being, by definition, is when you lightly touch a person or a part of a body, and that causes laughter. And so I thought, you know my interpretation for that is figuratively, I want to excite or stimulate someone's interest or curiosity in a very light-hearted manner when it comes to learning or relearning English, because it's fun, to have to laugh a little bit while learning a language. And I chose the color yellow because it's associated with positivity, happiness, energy, and my favorite, sunshine. So that's the
Uh-huh.
color that I chose for my brand. And you see that little monkey over there, that cheeky little monkey? That's the macaque, and it connotes playfulness. Yeah. And monkeys are also known for social interaction. And that's what I want to bring to my courses, social interaction, playfulness. So, all together, Tickle My English is basically learning English and improving English in a very fun, positive, and engaging manner. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And based on your experience in neuroscience and in the learning process and your experience as a neuro language coach trainer as well, how important would you say is having fun during the language learning process?
I think it's the key. I think having fun learning a language is key. Whether you're a beginner or an intermediate, at intermediate level, or a professional, when you're having fun, you get to remember or you get to learn the language more. You know, we we've learned. Well, I've learned through neuroscience how important the role of dopamine is. When we have an ample amount of dopamine, which means being proud of what we're learning, what we're doing, what we're achieving, then it amplifies our curiosity more. It makes us feel good more. And when we feel good, then it motivates us more to keep learning and not stopping. So I think having fun means, you have a calm brain when you're learning a language. Um, Stress is at a very minimum,
Mm,
and that you're learning new stuff. And so I think this is, for me, the important elements of learning a language.
wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. I like what you say about stress being at a very minimum there because although we consider that stress is a negative thing, there's a small amount of it that we need, for us to
Yes,
start into the whole process of being engaged into doing something, and that leads to a flow state in the language process. But it has to be
absolutely.
regulated. It has to be a small amount of it. Too much of it, on the other hand,
Yes.
might lead to a limbic reaction, a limbic
Mm,
response. We don't want
correct.
those in our
No,
session.
sir.
No, we don't. All right. Let's signpost our way into coaching, for example. Um, as a neuro language coach and as a participant of the course as well, when does neuro language coaching come into your life? At what stage of your career, for example, did you come across neuro language coaching? Mhm.
Oh, good question. How did I get into neurolanguage
Mhm.
coaching? Well, about 4 years ago, when I decided to launch myself as an English trainer, um, I kind of thought about, okay, but because my training is my background is in training,
Mhm.
and so okay, so I thought, okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm an English trainer, but then I kind of explored on the word coach, English coach, language coach, because I've heard about it. And I thought I it would be, I mean, yes, I have to admit it has a nice ring to it. You're an
Mhm.
English coach, right? But I felt like, okay, hold on a second. I have no training on coaching. And so I was absolutely not comfortable in calling myself an English coach. So I did a little bit of research. What does it take to become an English coach or a language coach? And I came across an article which was actually written by Rob Howard. You know Rob.
Mhm. Yeah.
He is also working very closely with Rachel. And he mentioned neurolanguage coaching. And I thought that is quite interesting. So I looked it up, and that's how I came across Rachel Paling and the Neurolanguage Coaching method. And when I read about it, I immediately thought, this is the way I want to teach or train
Mhm.
in English. And that was in 2021 when I took the first course. And through the years, I made my way to becoming a licensed trainer. So,
Wonderful. Thank
yeah.
you. Yes.
Mhm.
Wow. It's very interesting what you mentioned, that you come from a different background, but I do believe that perhaps that quote unquote different background has also helped you a lot in your own journey as a language coach and as a neuro language coach. I honestly believe that perhaps the most successful language educators actually combine the different backgrounds that they have and they create something new. And I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but maybe that creativity that you have may come from, yeah, your skills, your innate talents as well, but perhaps for your background, for the special background that you have as well. So yeah, it's
Thank you.
very, yes, definitely. Now, while doing this live talk in the research that I did about you, I came across a wonderful video that you posted,
Mhm.
and in that video you talked about the importance of needing a coach, and basically that everyone needs a coach.
Mhm.
And what is the reason that that message resonates with you?
Oh yeah, so this was the video, the TED Talk video from Atul Gawande,
Yeah.
and I was really impressed with this video, and that's why it really prompted me to repost it. As far as language learning is concerned, you know, many of us, or let's keep it here in Germany. In Germany, English is taught in school. Yeah, so they start, I think, at fifth grade, sixth grade onwards, and many pursue, higher studies, and many of them, become fluent. Um, and the thing about learning a language is, at least here, some people get to use it, some people don't, and there are certain different levels. So they have different
Mm.
levels. You could have a CEO, a CFO who's an expert in his field, but is still making some basic grammar mistakes, or is not proficient in using idiomatic expressions, which kind of impedes sometimes, the business. And so when I saw this video, I realized that yes, you could be an expert in your field, but and you may feel that you're fine with your English level, but when somebody comes in and, you know, observes and sees certain aspects that you don't see, then it's really important to have someone to coach you around that area so that you will improve and, become more proficient. So I think it's really important to consider having a coach when you are learning a language, because there's a different perspective that you don't see. Sometimes we feel like I'm good enough, but we need somebody else's perspective to help us improve. So I really believe in this talk by Atuka Wande.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for that. I'll turn my camera back on. I had just had a cough attack 1 second ago.
Oh,
Sorry.
I hope
Sorry.
you're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I am. I thank you. But yeah, I was listening to what you were saying, and yeah, it's a wonderful video, a very powerful one. And yeah, I love what you said about having another perspective because yeah, we've been doing things for a while in a particular way, and the neural connections about that particular skill that we've developed or knowledge is so ingrained in our in our minds that sometimes we omit, or we bypass certain aspects in the way how we're doing certain things, and that's when we need somebody else who give us another pair of eyes there to see
Right.
what is going on with our performance, definitely.
Right.
And when it comes to the language learning process, how can coaching help us perhaps deal with certain difficult situations in this process?
Well, the reason why I'm so grateful for, for finding this or learning about this method is because if I compare it to the way I did things before, where it's more directive, I teach, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong, and I hope the audience doesn't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with teaching, but what I mean is this directive style. I would just, without considering my learners, my learners' brains or my learners' backgrounds, I just give them what they need to learn, give them exercises, and without understanding where they're coming from. And so that's what changed for me when it came to neurolanguage coaching. I learned about the brain, I learned about triggers. And so how different each learner is. Each learner would have a trigger. Some may have bad learning experiences when learning a language. Some have some this you know um, fear of learning everything all at once, which then blocks the learning process. Some have fairness issues. For example, when a company is taken over by an English speaking company and they are forced to learn the language. So I never took that into consideration before. It's just I come in, okay, this is what we're learning today. But now that changed, and so I think it's a game changer for me, and definitely for the learners. When the learners feel that they are heard and understood, and that the coach understands where they're coming from, and the whole process of learning the language changes in such a way that it's catered to their needs, that changes the the learning process. Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing what you mentioned about learning more about limbic triggers, because upon taking the neurolanguage coaching certification course, I realized what my own triggers were. When
Yes.
yeah, when I spoke English, and that helped me to come up with a series of techniques and mantras or rituals even to help me prepare for this process as well. But the one thing that stuck with me is that if someone like me who has been doing this for X amount of time now, or certain number of years, can be triggered by certain social situations, let's imagine what might happen with our own learners, so that
Right.
yeah, exactly. So if so-called expert can be triggered by these situations, wow, our learners
Mm-hmm.
definitely might go through that. No, we'll go through the same situation as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing. So wonderful. Let's there's a wonderful video that you posted recently about you're climbing some stairs. Yeah, and I relate this to coaching. I'm wondering about the mental game, because there was a long set of steps there, and I was wondering about your mental game while climbing those stairs. Maybe we can share it if it's okay with you, Mariel, of
Sure.
course. Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
so that flight of stairs is a total of 96 steps. Yeah,
Whoa.
there I see the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a total of 96 steps. And every time I go to the city, I would opt to take these stairs. First of all, okay, let's go to my mental game. Yeah. My
Mhm.
mental game.
Mhm.
First, I am able and fit. So why not? I have no reason not to use the stairs if I'm fit and able. The second is I came across several articles where they say climbing a flight of stairs is good for the brain. So I dug deeper, and this is what I found. There was a study in 2016 by a research scientist called Jason Stefano, and he is at the Concordia University in Montreal, Canada. And this study reviewed brain scans of about 330 healthy adults aged 19 to 79. And those who took the stairs regularly, when their brains were scanned, they had quote unquote younger brains as far as the loss of gray, the speed of the loss, or not the decrease of the loss of gray matter is concerned. So, gray matter we know is very important um, when it comes to language learner, to memory, and the faster the faster we lose it, we don't want that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so it turned out that if you regularly walk flight of stairs daily, so a flight of stairs would be like maybe 15 to 17 steps, you are contributing to the health of your brain, making your brain younger. When your brain is healthy, then that also then affects the way you learn a language.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mental game is, okay, if I keep my brain healthy through exercise and climbing stairs, it's easy. You see stairs everywhere, anywhere. Then as a non-German speaking person, living in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
if that will bit by bit help contribute in you know memory retention as far as me learning the language is concerned, then by all means I'll take the stairs. So that's my game.
Yeah, yeah. It's a wonderful thing what you mentioned about doing something, and the connection of doing something and the fact that it has to be easy. And because climbing the stairs, for example, is something that we can do on a regular basis because there are stairs everywhere. No? So we have to make things easier for us to be pushed to doing them as well. No?
Mhm.
So yeah, and that's a one thing that I always share with my own learners is that how can you make learning English easy for you? You know, how can you reduce the resistance of the brain to do something? You know? And if your book or your learning material is hidden, that will create friction and that will create resistance. You know? But how can you make it easy? You know,
Yeah.
just like the stairs. You know, stairs are everywhere. I remember when
Yeah.
I wanted during the pandemic, I wanted to work out a little bit because I felt like I needed to leave my house, and we couldn't, and we couldn't. So I said, why don't you buy a new bicycle just to work out a little bit, and you can go everywhere, you know, with it, and 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 do some exercise. So when I bought it, I decided to put the bicycle at the back of my living room, and yeah, behind all the furniture and stuff. But then I realized that if I keep it there, it's going to be very difficult for me to get out of the house and do something. So I put it right next to the door so that it was
Yeah.
easier for me to just grab it and yeah and ride it. So yeah,
That's
I
right.
resonate with that a lot. Yeah. And let's talk about neuroscience for a little bit. And I know that you recently had a wonderful insight about the prefrontal cortex and its role in the language learning process, and how sometimes when the intelligent brain, this guy right here, shuts up, yes, fluency can occur. Um,
Yeah.
I think I have this is the reason why I say that Mariel is very creative.
Okay.
Can I share
Yes,
just for a few
absolutely.
seconds another video about that? All right. While you're sharing your insights about, yeah, now let me see. Yeah, I think we got it. All right. Tell us, Mariel, what is your
Mhm.
insight about the prefrontal
Okay.
cortex?
Yeah. So this is a get together of self-employed women here in the city where I live, and they are German ladies, and I went there to network, of course, and and while networking, of course, I prepared myself going there because it's a get together of German ladies who speak German, of course, right?
Hmm.
So then I must be prepared to
Yeah.
also speak in German. And so before coming there, I kind of, gave myself a little pep talk and said, okay, you're gonna go in there. There's gonna be about 10 ladies there. You're gonna speak in German. And I even told myself, just pretend that they don't understand a word of English. I told that to myself, so that will, kind of force myself to speak the language. Anyway, so I went there and I lasted the entire, I think, 2 hours conversing, engaging. 90, I said in the video, 95% German. I think towards the end, I was kind of okay. My brain was kind of getting tired already.
Yeah.
So towards the end, I started switching to English. But I felt great afterwards because I thought, okay, you know, as long as I prepare myself, I it's there. I learned German. I've been learning German. I still am, but technically I have this B2 level
Hmm.
certificate which I got in 2019. Um, but as far as fluency is concerned, it's a little bit tricky because my family and I speak to my husband and to my daughter in English, and because that's my language. But when it comes to conversing with others, when I go out, if I don't prepare myself, then I kind of my prefrontal cortex kind of plays the role of a guard. Like,
Yeah.
okay, are you saying the right things? Is that the right grammar structure? So when I start doing that, when I start getting too self conscious about these things, then I get lost. I
Yeah.
stutter, I stumble, you know, it's like I haven't even learned the language at all. So this is where I realized that, prefrontal cortex, yes, we need it. It's important when we're focusing on a particular grammar topic, when we're studying. It plays a very, vital role. But then it cannot take over when you're
Mm.
trying to, you know, have conversations. And this is my usual problem, when I start getting too self-conscious. Oh, I'm
Mm.
speaking German, like, did I say the right thing? So yeah, th- when this get together took place, that's where I realized, okay, I just got to give myself a pep talk every time.
Yeah.
So I talk to my prefrontal cortex and say,
Yeah.
hey, stop it, okay? I'm gonna have a good time now and just talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the story behind that post.
Yeah, and it works. Actually, it works. I actually do the same thing. I have a set of rituals. Even before this live talk, I was giving myself a pet talk as well. So, but yeah, the one that I use is like I say to myself, "Let your subconscious brain take over. Let your subconscious brain take over." And yeah, that's how I remember that. Hey, it's okay to to lean back a little bit, to relax and go with the flow sometimes. Yes, we prepare for this, but ultimately, you have to let yourself go and yeah, cast your fate to the wind. I
Yeah,
suppose. Yeah,
and not
exactly.
and not be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Definitely.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Wonderful. Mariel, we're running out of time, but I'd like to ask you perhaps a couple of extra questions. Is that okay with you?
yeah. Sure, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So, if you had a billboard for language teachers to see, what message would that kind of like the one that I have behind me? What message would you put in your in that billboard? Mm,
Ooh, I would put an image,
mm.
a graphic image. No, not graphic image. I would put a an image of the brain. Yeah,
Ooh,
drawing an artwork, and just say, get to know the brain.
ooh, wow. Mm,
Whether it's for language learning, whether it's for coaching, whether it's for yourself, I think the time has come where we should all get to know the most important part of our body and how it works and what makes it tick, because it really gives us insight into so many things,
mm.
personal life, professional life. So I think that would be my message: get to
Wow.
know the brain. Yeah.
Yeah. You. Wow. That so resonates with me as well. Many of the insights that I have can be attributed to the little that I know now about the brain and how most of the things that we do on the regular basis are connected to it, to the mission of the brain of surviving
Mhm.
and saving energy. Every single thing I
Mhm.
connect, oh, this is my brain trying to save energy,
Yeah.
and try to do much more pleasure inducing activities because that's what we want. We want
Yeah.
the dopamine. And when you discover that, that can stop you at your tracks and say, okay, yeah, maybe just because I have this feeling doesn't mean that it's right, or maybe I can do something
Mhm.
else to prevent it.
Yeah. Mhm. That's
Wonderful.
right.
Mariel, thank you so much. I know that you are about to launch a new neuro language coaching course. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the dates, perhaps?
Yeah, so well, I'm trying to break into the Philippine market actually.
Mhm.
It's not an easy task, because especially I'm not there on the ground, but I am trying to launch a neuro language coaching course for language educators, language trainers in the Philippines. Hopefully, I'll be getting some signups for that. And that will be in August the 24th. That's my target kickoff date, live in Manila. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and that will be continued on with a series of online um, sessions. But if that doesn't take place, I will. I'm always putting out dates there to do the neuro language coaching certification course. And on here, as far as being here in Germany is concerned, I am facilitating conversation courses. And so this is for anyone and everyone who wants to just keep that regular practice going on, because the title of this conversation course is Use It or Lose It. So if if we have some German speakers in the audience who want to keep their English speaking skills sharp, this is the course. And like what we said in the beginning, we're not going to talk about the weather. We're going to talk about really cool stuff, important stuff, current events, and all that. So
Yeah.
that will be in September. The autumn course will be in September, 13 sessions, and
Yeah.
it's live in person. So
Oh,
yeah,
wonderful. Even better. Even better.
yeah.
What is that one tongue twister that you uh, talked about in one of your videos for your German audience that they can use to practice?
Yes,
Would
okay,
you like to
because
give it a try?
let's
Yeah.
see if I can do it.
Okay.
For the benefit of the audience, yeah. Well, I mentioned earlier that I'm still learning the language. I may have reached a certain level, but there's no end to learning a language.
Hmm.
And one of the challenges that I got some years ago was a German tongue twister.
Hmm.
And so the, it goes something like this: Fisches frisst, fischt, frische Fische. Okay, once
Hmm.
again, Fischers
Yeah.
fritz, fischt, frische Fische.
Oh,
Okay.
well done. Yeah, you got it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. And this means a fisherman called Mr. Fritz is fishing fresh fish.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
Great. Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
if there's anyone who's trying to learn the German language, maybe that would be a good German tongue twister to practice.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Mariel, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Yes, I've had a wonderful time. Hopefully, we can do this again in the future, in the near future. And all the best for you in your next courses as well.
Same here, Juan Carlos. I'd like to thank you and Jacob and Race for giving me the opportunity to speak here and speak to the audience. And hopefully, yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe a part two.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Wait for our message then.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Juan Carlos. It's been a
Okay.
pleasure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
it's been mine as well. Talk soon, Marielle. And thank you, racers, for watching this recording. And if you like the content, yeah, you can share it and click on like. And we hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of
Great.
your day. Bye bye.